After being online for 56 hours, I have my weekly total. I made $921. I know that seems like insane to some. It's like, wow, 56 hours. That's almost 60 hours in just that 7 days from Monday till Sunday, which is today. I worked 56 hours and I made $921. And honestly, I am extremely grateful. And I thank God so much for blessing me to even make that. And I mean,
If you're not clear, I'm guessing she's referring to doing Uber or DoorDash or something like that is what she's referring to. If you weren't already aware, that's what we're reacting to today.
the way the week was looking with that $36 in 4 hours, I really didn't think I was going to make it. So to make more than my $800 goal, I thank Jesus. Thank you so much. I am so grateful and so happy about that. I'm not even going to complain, honestly, because I know I started from zero and now I have $921 in my pocket. Thank you.
Listen, I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade. And she put the quote, success means nothing if you lose yourself trying to win it. So I like that. But I just want to know, was she tracking the other things? Because a lot of times people get on these apps and they're just tracking the money that they made. But shoot, she drove for 7 days straight, 60 hours. She drove 7 days straight, and it's not like a regular job when you drive to the location and then you just get to park and it's all profit from there. She was continuing to drive her car. I'd be curious to know, how many miles did you put on your car? That's for one. How much was your gas expenses? That's for two. But I don't want to rain on her parade. But let's just go ahead and get into the next video. If you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hype.
Right now, we are seeing Uber drivers and other gig workers.
His caption says, Uber and DoorDash drivers are done. Everyone is losing money.
All across America going broke. The gas prices have surged far too high for most of them to make a profit. And in many cases, a lot of the rideshare opportunities and things like that that come up are not even worth it anymore. This makes me wonder if we're even going to have a gig economy or Uber drivers in the next, say, 10 years or so. With all the automation, with all of the AI, and with how unprofitable driving for these programs has become, makes you question their future. Take a look at this. Here's an example of one driver where every time a ride pops up on his phone, he only has a few seconds to decide whether to accept it before another driver takes it, which shows you there's still a lot of competition. This is in the Los Angeles area, which I'm sure it's always going to be highly competitive there. Okay? So here's a couple of options that you might have as one of these drivers. One ride comes up that might pay only $7 for just a little over a mile ride. Sounds good, but it takes 7 minutes just to get to the person that you want to go pick up. Another opportunity might come up where it's a little over $23 for a longer trip across town that could take you an hour. Then you could get an airport run, for example, that could come up. And that's a little over a 13-mile trip, which in Los Angeles could take an unknown amount of time.
Here's the thing, too. See, he's quantifying it into time. And I think now, for one, the more saturated it's become, it's giving more leverage to the actual corporations. And they're always going to try to thin out their margins any way they can, in any opportunity they can. Always remember, it seems like a good thing, a philanthropic thing of, oh, now if I lose my job or whatever, I have this resource over here. But these are corporations, and they're only going to be loyal to their balance sheet at the end of the day. And what I was about to get into is, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody smart, somebody savvy, CEO minded said, just like what I said in that first video, I wonder if she's tracking. I wouldn't be surprised if a CEO said, man, these folks ain't even tracking it. Man, just make it sound good. Even if it's going to be an hour, even if by the time they make the $23 driving an hour away, they're not tracking their expenses. So by the time they really factor it in, they probably spent $17 just to fulfill that trip and then be able to get back home. But they're like, man, people ain't tracking it. They're not even paying attention. Just let them keep driving, working for pennies. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's malicious and egregious like that.
Ever been to LA or dealt with LA traffic, it's completely unpredictable. And one thing you know for sure is you're going to be sitting in it. So he ended up taking the airport trip. But the main reason he decided to take the airport trip is because of gas prices. In LA right now, it's well over $6 a gallon for most people. That's completely changed how Uber drivers are looking at taking these different jobs. Every ride now requires a quick calculation, not just what it pays, but also what it's going to cost to do the ride. Now, this guy is 61 years old, driving for Uber, and he is working 60 hours a week doing this. And he says he typically earns between $1,000 to $1,500 per week. But his earnings have dropped by 25% because he now turns down the longer rides that burn too much fuel. Instead, he focuses on shorter trips, even if they pay less, just to be able to conserve gas. On top of that, he's trying to position himself strategically so that way when his trip is over, he ends up in a neighborhood where gas is still cheaper so he can fill up at a better price. So there's a lot of things going on there just to be able to try to make some money doing this, and all these decisions need to be made on a split-second basis.
See, and this person in particular is one of the valuable people who it sounds like are tracking. They are tracking and they are weighing the benefits as well as keeping track of their expenses ultimately. But here's the expense that I bet you ain't nobody tracking, just about. I doubt anyone's tracking depreciation on your car. Depreciation on your car and repairs are expensive, especially today, especially in this inflationary environment. So if you're not tracking that, and not just tracking it, but also setting money aside for when that happens, then you're still kind of screwed out here. And see, what he was mentioning is right now is the worst time to be doing this, because he said the guy has to now do the calculation because of the new uptick in gas prices due to the war in Iran, or whatever you want to call it, in Iran, where there's basically this battle for the Strait of Hormuz, where it's not allowing ships to pass through safely. So now what that has done to the economy is that has resulted in a spike in gas prices. And that spike in gas prices affects people who, especially, it affects everybody, but it especially affects people who depend on transportation for their business. Imagine on a large scale, people who have fleets. Imagine how that's affecting their profit right now. This caption says Uber is the new poverty trap. Drivers are losing. And it was done May 11th, 2026.
So by now, I think everybody knows that Uber and Lyft are like really predatory companies. I didn't believe it until I started driving for them, but it's true. They're messed up and they're predatory. A lot of good and bad. I think something needs to happen. They need a new business model. But here's the thing that I don't think anybody's really talking about. When I'm driving for Uber and Lyft, I am shocked by how many people are using it to commute to their job that really should not be. Uber and Lyft have essentially become a new poverty trap. These are people that are using Uber to commute to like a Dairy Queen, and that's costing them maybe like $30 a day. But they kind of need it because the Dairy Queen is in a location that public transportation wouldn't be able to get them to. And they obviously can't afford a car. It's a weird catch where they're getting a job that they really wouldn't be able to get, but they're also losing a ton of money getting there. So by now, I think everybody knows.
I couldn't tell if he was talking about at first the customer who has to rely on the Uber in order to go to places that public transportation can't take them, or if he was actually talking about the driver, because his caption said drivers are losing. Because then where I was going to go with it is, yeah, it is definitely a poverty trap for drivers. And I think it's something that can also keep you stagnant as well, because a lot of people may lose their job, or maybe they'll even just leave their job because they know that they have this opportunity over here, and they look at it like, I can make my own schedule. It's like an entrepreneurial thing, I get to come home and watch SpongeBob, and I can just do this how I do and listen to my podcast while I drive. But because it sounds so sweet on paper, what that has done is it's attracted more and more people and more individuals who also see it that way, who also think like-minded and do not want to keep the structure as well as the obligation of having to go to the job. And so with the oversaturation, that has
I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I cannot drive for DoorDash.
That has then shifted the leverage onto the corporation to where now they're the only party that's really profiting heavily. The caption for this video says, driving for DoorDash isn't worth it anymore with $4 gas. I think it's going to be a lot of people complaining about the gas right now, especially.
Anymore. Gas in North Carolina has eased up to $4 per gallon. And with that being said, it's also 80 degrees out here. The amount of money that I have to put in gas now to make what I used to make, it's just not even the same, right? Because I'm paying way more in gas to get the same amount of money I used to get. But at the end of the week, it's like, it's not even worth it, right? Yeah, I'm still profiting, but the amount of gas that I'm putting in based on the time that I'm out here working is not worth it. So I think I have to actually start retiring now. I think I'm going to put in my resignation, which is actually nothing. It's just me not doing it next week. But yeah, I think I'll do like a couple of more weeks and then I'm going to move on to something else. In this economy with what's going on right now, it's good for a side hustle, but for somebody like me who's kind of been doing it full time, it is just not worth it anymore, friends. Tell me what you think, guys.
What is something else though? She's saying she's retiring. She really thought that this was going to be the end all be all, and this was going to carry her throughout the rest of her life. And then it became so oversaturated as well as gas. You got two things working against you at the same time. It was already becoming oversaturated, which was then making the price points more competitive between other drivers. But then now what's happened is gas has gone up. And so that has completely shattered. And I've always wondered if Uber was going to make the adjustments for the drivers, knowing that they now had this added expense as far as gas. But the corporation did what corporations do, and they prioritized themselves over definitely their workers, right?
So this is for my DoorDash drivers, man. I would encourage y'all to stop accepting these low-paying, non-tipping orders, right? You can't make no money like that. The more you accept these low-paying orders, the more DoorDash gonna send them to you, man. We out here to earn a living, man. You losing money by accepting these trash orders, man. You losing money. Let's be realistic. We got to make money out here, man. That's my word for the day. Peace.
I like that. I like his style, man. I like the style of the music. And he's an older gentleman, right? And this happens a lot within really any industry. And what I'm referring to is things are set up a certain way. You're getting paid good, or maybe just things are good. Like maybe your day is smooth and it's not too much on you. And then what'll happen is typically, this is what typically happens in the industries. The newer wave of the younger generation will come in, and then what they will do is they will be overzealous and they will be doing the most and doing a lot, and they're wet behind the ears. And so they'll be doing more than what they have to, or they'll be accepting less than what they deserve. That can look in the form of compensation. So like he just said, they're willing to accept less trips, or it could just be they're doing too much and it's making everybody else look like they're not doing enough. And so what that does is that changes the environment, especially when more of that happens. And so, like I said, that happens in any industry. And I agree. If y'all weren't accepting the trips and y'all weren't accepting the money, then DoorDash will have no choice but to have to pay more. But when you have people who will come in and do it, you have people who are willing to do it. Well, then now that becomes the new market environment. And then there's a shift. And there's a shift in the direction that you as the worker do not want to see happen. You never want to see things revert back to where you're making less, right? Things need to be going up. And this can happen in those instances and circumstances. Her caption says DoorDash and Uber Eats is going out of business. Let's see how she came to that assessment.
All of the DoorDash and Uber Eats customers, if you go to my post that says DoorDash is going out of business, just look at the comments and see the type of people who deliver your food. The people who take up for stealing your food, spitting in your food, doing anything to your food if you don't tip nothing at all, and if you don't tip as much as they want you to tip. These people are so greedy when it comes to getting tips. It's insane. So if you are tipping anything less than $10, some people are even asking for $20 tips just to make sure your food gets there in one piece. Please check your food. If these people are, just go look in the comments before they try to delete them or whatever. Absolutely insane. Absolutely lack of respect for others. They say if you don't tip as much as they want you to tip, they're going to do something to your food. They're going to steal it. They're going to do something to it. I just simply don't respect that.
Yeah, if from my understanding, they'd know whether you tipped before they even bring the food, if I'm not mistaken. And that's bad. And that shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. But I agree. I have that same type of anxiety a lot of times. And this could even be even in person. Even if I go somewhere, like, of course, the most common places would be like a coffee shop, right? I just make sure to tip. Like, I stopped trying to fight that battle. I stopped trying to down that hill. I'm afraid. I'm worried. I don't want to listen, especially when they're like, they make you tip first before they have the drink. Sometimes I like to try to time it. I'll try to pretend like I'm fiddling with my card, trying to find the right card so that I know that they're still making the stuff. Especially if I know I'm not good. I just tip. I just do it and I tip pretty good. But dang, $10, $20, that's the new expectation. This is crazy. But yeah, I don't like when they take my stuff in the back, like, or when they still have to go do stuff behind any corner where I don't have any visibility into what's going on.
And you will see a lot of people in those comments switching what I said around, making it seem like I'm saying don't tip at all. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I said in that video. It's a lot of ignorance in those comments, right? So what I'm telling you customers to do is to check if you do not tip at all, or if you tip a little amount of money, check your food and make sure it is correct before you accept it, before you put those 5 stars on that review, because these people most likely are doing something to your food and you just simply don't know. And it's so sad that we have to go to these drastic measures.
But the good thing about DoorDash and Uber Eats, here's what I'll say. They make sure, the restaurants will make sure that your stuff is sealed. So usually they have to have some type of sticker or something like that. So that helps. I feel that gives me confidence because it's like, okay, you can't take off the seal. So I think you're fine. I don't think that DoorDash, Uber drivers are doing that. Now, I think people, if you especially through drive-throughs where they try to ask for tips, mostly those drive-through coffee places, then you don't know what's going on once they slide that window and they go back. Okay, we'll be right back.
Do you want to know why you're not making any money on Uber Eats and DoorDash?
His caption says, "This is why you aren't making any money on DoorDash and Uber Eats."
It's because you take orders like this and you think it's actually worth it. Or you listen to people who say this.
Just so we're very clear, when he's saying orders like this, he's referring to this. So it looks like the order is for about, honestly, even when I blow it up, it's just still blurred. It says for $2.44. It looks like it's an 11-minute drive, 0.9 miles. Goodness, what? Drive $11, 11 minutes for $2.44. Oh, that's highway robbery. And see, again, there's somebody that's going to take it. So they're going to keep giving you that option because somebody will take it. But if people stop taking it, I think that then those prices would then adjust to what they should be, right?
Order right here, I can knock that out in 5 minutes, and yeah, it's worth it. These orders are never worth it. I promise you, they are never worth it. Do not take them. It says 11 minutes to deliver this $2.44 order, 0.9 miles. So I had to go to the restaurant, hope it's ready. It's McDonald's, right? Hope it's ready, which it's most likely not going to be ready. And then go deliver up the street for $2.44. Even if you did 5 of these in an hour, how much money are you going to be at?
Then you got to deliver it. Oh my goodness, I forgot. You got to pick it up, then go deliver it. You got to get out your car twice. If you get to a building and you got to go up an elevator.
1 hour taking orders like this. Now, sure, they're not all going to be $2. Some are going to be $3, $4. But if you did that the whole hour, most hours you're not going to break above $15, $16. You would have to get orders back to back to back to back to back to even make it worth it doing orders like this all day. Also, doing more orders like this is more wear and tear on your car. You would have to do so many deliveries in order to even make $100 a day taking orders like this. You would have to turn your car on and off, on and off, on and off like over 20 times for sure to even make any money doing orders like this. Just ignore these non-tip orders that are fucking from fast food restaurants under $4, $5. Like, they're just not worth it. You're going to get bad ratings because you're going to deliver to bad customers who don't tip shit. And you're going to miss out on making good money with better orders. And if $2 and $3 orders are all you see in your area, like every day, yeah, I would not be doing Uber or DoorDash, I wouldn't. Just don't even do it because it's not worth it. Go to a different area then. Do you want to know why you're not?
Yeah, that's a good point. You gotta make sure you preserve that rating as well. You get a bad rating, nobody wants to mess with you. And yeah, some people are kind of spiteful. And it's funny. The people who are the brokest and who pay the least are typically the most entitled. So to his point, I agree. They're the most entitled and a lot of times the most spiteful as well. And we see it when we watch the eviction videos, don't we? Look at the conditions sometimes that they maliciously leave those homes in, and even the damage that they sometimes do because they get evicted for reasons that they're responsible for, i.e., they haven't paid rent in months. So you came out of the situation and you didn't pay, and so you saved all your money, but then you're still going to be spiteful after the fact and harm the landlord. And a lot of times those repairs can be at the cost of tens of thousands of dollars. I've seen some where they had $50,000 in damages. Imagine you got a house worth $300,000 and they just inflicted $50,000 worth of damages and you hadn't been getting rent for months, maybe even a year. I don't think this is a video, but I will read the caption. It says, "I wasn't hustling, I was trapped. Driving all day for DoorDash and Uber Eats, all day. Losing money to gas, accepting crumbs just to survive. Wearing out my car for nothing. The depreciation. Wearing out my car for nothing. Your car has a life. So you need to factor in depreciation, which is ultimately going to be the life of your car. And you're taking more out of the life because you're driving it all over town. But wearing out my car for nothing. Still broke, still tired. Still broke, still tired. Those apps didn't save me. They kept me stuck." That's been the theme this entire video. His caption says, "Restaurants are losing millions of dollars to DoorDash and Uber Eats." So it looks like he's taking a different type of spin, a different type of angle on the situation.
Listen, you have to see this because a lot of you restaurant owners are literally just throwing cash down the drain. Check this out. I just got this email from my delivery intelligence platform. It says, "Congrats, we got back $984.98 from chargebacks already from orders from November 29 to December 28th. Check this out. $1,144, that's 68 orders that were charged back by guests, basically complaining, saying that they didn't get their food or they didn't get a certain item or whatever. You can see here that 58 of them on DoorDash, 9 on Uber Eats, 1 on Grubhub, $328 from Uber Eats alone. All of these we disputed. They were all disputed. and we're getting back $984.98. Now, $980 doesn't sound like much considering we do over $600,000 a month, but $900 is $900. You know, if we were to count that annually, that would almost be 12 grand. So if you guys are using third-party delivery, make sure that you are responding to chargebacks when you get them, because it's literally just money being thrown down the drain if you don't. You could see here that over 95% of these chargebacks, we actually got our money back. So make sure that you're doing it. It takes a little bit of time to go in and dispute them, but it'll be well worth your time.
Please tell me that you're looking at the delivery instructions when y'all are doing DoorDash.
His caption says, "This is why you're losing money with DoorDash."
When y'all are doing DoorDash. That is one of the main reasons why you are losing money and leaving money left on the table. Because there are some people who tip up front and they tip on the back end. It just really depends on if you're following explicit instruction. If you are just arriving at the people's house, dropping the order off, walking away, that is subpar customer service. You want to make sure that when you get there, you exit out of the maps and you're reading the delivery instructions. Sometimes they want you to leave it at the garage. Sometimes they want you to ring the doorbell. Sometimes they have dogs inside and they don't want you even knocking on the door or ringing the doorbell. Guys, we cannot be on autopilot when trying to make this money, because some people will give a $5 tip, $10 tip just because they're seeing that you're paying attention to detail. People are detail oriented, especially the people that we're trying to attract, the high paying customers. And once you get those 5-star ratings, it's more likely for you to continue to have that same customer that's going to do you right. So the choice is yours. Make sure that you follow me for more DoorDash tips, and I appreciate.
No, that was great life advice. If I think I caught it correctly, because I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest, but I don't want to. I'm not being disrespectful. I hope I'm not. He was. I pay attention to other things sometimes, especially when I'm reviewing these videos. I'm trying to be perceptive, just in case I may see an insight that I can share with the audience. So sometimes that can be good, and sometimes that can come at a cost. The cost for this was I kind of missed a lot of what he said, but honestly, like I thought he was a homosexual at first, but what threw me off was I saw the car seats. He's got 2 twin car seats in the back. A boy and girl, it looks like. So that's when I was like, oh, okay, this is whatever. And then I caught what he was saying at the end. And so I love what he said when he said, attention to detail. Oh man, that's something I harp on so strongly. I love that. And I love it's coming from a brother, and he's spreading that and he's giving that advice. I hope I didn't detract away from his good message by me basically really saying something I didn't have to say. I didn't have to say that. I might cut it out. But yeah, I love his message, and I think it's great life advice. Y'all, we'll leave it there for today. If you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. It only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hype the video, hype is a new feature that YouTube offers where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And basically, when you hype, it actually pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So you just press the hype button and it shows the points. And since I am a smaller creator, a smaller channel, we actually get more points per hype. And the reason why is because hype was designed for us, smaller channels, smaller creators, not the larger ones. And then also, if you come across a video and you don't see the hype button, then it's probably been 7 days, and hype usually vanishes after 7 days. So it's usually best practice to just go ahead and hype while the iron is hot. And then also Patreon's link below if you want to see self-improvement content as well. But until then, I'll catch you in the next video.